cold dude. But every time of Chanukah, my dad he wouldn't smile, but he'd come close. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. As we learn from the Dreidel, may we be as Yeshua and come to Him with the faith of a young child. May we never view the Dreidel the same again. As stated previously, the Sivivon, or the Dreidel, has 4 Hebrew letters that together represent the sentence. Does anyone know? Our children probably do know, right? What do the 4 letters represent? A great miracle happened there. Nes Gadol Haya Sham. Very good, Tara. Which means a great miracle happened there. Where's there? B'Yerushalayim, B'Yisrael. In Israel. Each of the letters on the toy are highly symbolic, as the Sivivon, or the Dreidel, is symbolic of our existence. We are constantly spinning to get ahead. We are constantly spinning to make a difference in this world as believers. We are constantly spinning just to pay our bills. Good morning, Irene. We are constantly spinning so we don't fall down and commit harry-carry and leave our children as orphans and give up. We keep on keeping on. So we keep what? Spinning our heads and our lives and our hearts and our jobs just to stay afloat. Just to keep living and serving Yahweh. Nes Gadol Haya Sham, a great miracle happened there. The noon is symbolic of the nefesh. The nefesh is the Hebrew word for what? Soul. It's the soulish desire. The soulish impulses, the soulish desire, will pull us away from Yahweh into an existence of selfishness. Jealousy is a problem of the soul. It's related to the emotional realm. Hatred, anger, all these emotions that get us sidetracked and pull us away from Yahweh. So the noon stands for what? Soul, or what? Nefesh. Nefesh and Yahweh don't get along too good. Yahweh works through the heart, not the nefesh. Your emotions will destroy your walk with Yahweh. You cannot serve Yahweh with your emotions. If you're going to die for Yeshua, if you're going to live for Yeshua, if you're going to step out in faith for Yeshua, if you're going to walk with Yeshua, if you're going to serve Yeshua, if you're going to labor for the kingdom of Yahweh, you must learn how to crucify the nefesh. Meaning, I feel like going into hibernation, but I'm going to go out and evangelize. I feel like not showing up to synagogue, but I'm going to be early. I feel like not reading my Bible, but instead of reading 2 verses, I'm going to read 5 verses. You've got to take every authority, every emotion, every manifestation of the nefesh into the captivity of the blessed knowledge of Mashiach Yeshua, somebody.
Amen. All right now.
You're warring. Your war is not against Islam alone. Your war is against your nefesh.
That's right.
And if you're not careful, when the spinning of your life lands on noon, you are basically out of order. You're out of business. You cannot serve Yahweh with your nefesh. Judas, Yehuda Ishkariot, tried to serve Yeshua with his nefesh. And when he wasn't king in his timing, in his way, he betrayed the master of glory. Because he thought he should establish the kingdom then and not thousands of years later. Watch your emotions. They are your worst enemy.
Yes, they are.
Not maybe, not will be, they are.
Yes, they are.
We do not walk by emotions. We walk by faith in Yahweh's recorded word.
Amen.
He said it. That settles it. Whether we believe it or not is irrelevant. You know, you're already, well, he said it, I believe it, and that settles it. Forget about whether you believe it or not. His word, thy word, O Yahweh, is settled forever in heaven, somebody.
Amen.
His word is settled forever.
Amen.
Whether we believe it or not.
Whether we believe
it is settled.
Amen.
So the noon is a nefesh.
Amen.
Romans 6:16. Romans 6:16. Don't you know to whom you yield yourselves slaves to obey, its servants you become, whether a slave of sin to death or a slave of obedience to righteousness? That is, the the soulish realm. You cannot be a slave of the soul. You must be a slave of Yeshua. Romans 6:16. Whoever you yield yourselves slaves to, that is your master.
Right.
Yeshua is standing there with his word. Yeshua is standing there with his ways. Yeshua is standing there with his understanding. Yeshua is standing there with his spirit. And we are standing there with our emotions. But it doesn't feel right. But it doesn't feel good. But it doesn't feel clean. But it doesn't. And your emotions are contrary to the word of Yahweh in most cases.
Amen.
And so we are slaves. We are called to be slaves. We will either be slaves to Yahshua, or we will be slaves to the noon, the nefesh, and the emotional realm. Can I hear a good amen?
Amen.
This is the best counseling you'll ever receive. Okay, even though I don't look like Dr. Aby. The best counseling you'll ever receive. All right? Crucify the emotions. Don't be led by your emotions, because you are in slavery. But you've been bought with a price. Therefore glorify Yahweh in your body and your spirit.
Yes.
Which are Yahweh's.
That's right.
Because whoever you obey, you're their slave.
Amen.
So the nefesh is fighting with Yeshua to see who's in charge.
All the time.
Can I hear a good amen?
Amen.
I said, can I hear a good amen?
Amen. And amen.
The Gimel, here's the Gimel. Students, you know the Gimel? Naomi, where's the Gimel? Right? That's the Gimel right there. The Gimel stands for goof. The Hebrew word for body is goof, the physical needs. Yahweh has promised to meet all of our needs. We should not worry about what we will eat or how we will clothe ourselves. Yahweh will supply all of our needs according to his riches and glory by Moshiach Yahshua. Philippians 4:19. The birds and the sparrows take no thought of themselves. They are protected by Yahweh. We are worth more than birds. Can I hear a good amen?
Amen.
We should guard against the desires of the body. The bodily appetite can never be fully satiated, but it can control us. That's the bad part about bodily appetites.
That's right.
Bodily appetites can never be satisfied, but they can take over.
That's right.
I'll say that again. Bodily appetites can never be satisfied, but they can take over. Romans 6:16. To whomever you give yourself as a slave, it is to that thing or person that is your master. Can I hear a good amen?
Amen.
So the noon is not how we serve Yahweh, the nefesh. The G, the gimel, the goof, is not how we serve Yahweh. The book of Mishlei says this: put a knife to your throat if you are given to gluttony.
Wait a minute, hold on. Wow.
That's talking about the physical needs of the body. If you're given to gluttony, the word of Yahweh says in the book of Mishlei, put a knife to your throat. That'll solve your overeating problem.
Okay.
Give me some food.
In other words, these things desire for you to obey them. And we are not to obey those things, or we become slaves to those things. We are slaves. Not to the white man, not to the black man, not to a government. We are slaves to Yeshua, and we are bought and paid for, and he alone calls the shots in our life.
Amen.
Not your emotions, not your mommy, not your daddy, not your rabbi.
Amen.
Amen.
The blessed eternal word of Yahweh that is settled forever in heaven.
Amen.
He is your shield and your exceeding great reward.
That's right.
Overindulgence is one of the 7 deadly sins, the goof. The dreidel stands in our spinning, out of control lives. The gimel stands for the goof, the body, that can really cause us to do what? To goof. Where do we get the English word goof from? From the bodily needs. It's trying to goof on us. It's trying to tell you if you meet your body, if you have 10 wives, you'll be happy. I got news for you. You should only have 2 wives if Yahweh tells you to. Because if Yahweh doesn't tell you, you could have 1,000 wives and 700 concubines and wind up worshiping Molech and die unhappy, unfulfilled, and miserable. Take Shlomo HaMelech, for example, Exhibit A.
A little.
Shlomo HaMelech is Exhibit A. Why? because he served his what? His goof, led by his nephew.